Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we have taken up a new topic from the grammar section that is related to clauses. So in this video we will discuss about relative clauses. First we will know what are relative clauses. Then after that we will discuss its various types, and then we will go into some details. So first we will see what are relative clauses. Actually, a relative clause is one that is connected to the main clause of the sentence by a word, such as I have bolded some words here: who, whom, which, that, or whose. For example, we have got a sentence: it reminded him of the house that he used to live in. Now in the second example, we have got the items which are believed to be family heirlooms included a grandfather clock worth around $3,000. So the words we have got who, whom, which, that, whose, etc. We call them as relative pronouns, about which we will discuss in our next video. So actually a relative clause, it is that part of the sentence which is connected to the main clause through these relative pronouns such as these whom, who, which, that, etc. We have got two types of relative clauses. Number one is defining, or we called as restrictive relative clause, and then we have got non-defining, or we call them also non-restrictive relative clauses. Now the main difference between the two is that a restrictive relative clause provides essential information about the noun to which it refers, so it cannot be left out of the sentence without affecting the meaning. So that we see here in the previous example, the highlighted section of the first sentence, it is a restrictive clause. So if we will left out, the sentence would not make any sense. So we have got it reminded him of the house. Then we have got the next part here: it reminded him of the house that he used to live in. So that he used to live in, it is actually a relative restrictive relative clause. Means if it is taken out of that sentence, so it will definitely affect the sentence, the meaning of the sentence. So it means that without this, the complete meaning of the sentence can't be achieved. That is why we call it as restrictive relative clause, or we call as them defining relative clauses. Or in the simpler words, we can say that when they are separated from the main sentence or the main clause, the clause which remains there, that doesn't give us the complete meaning. But so far as a non-restrictive relative clause is concerned, it provides information that can be left out without affecting the meaning or the structure of the sentence. For example, we have got the highlighted section of the non-restrictive clause in the previous example. If it was left out, the sentence would still be perfect. For example, we have got the items included a grandfather clock worth around $3,000. So if we'll go to the example, the items, then we have got the bolded section which are believed to be family heirlooms. included a grandfather clock worth around $3,000. So we have got these two types of these clauses: the restrictive clause, or we call them also defining clauses, and then we have got non-defining or these non-restrictive related clauses. So to add something more to the information, I want to tell you that you do not need to put a comma before a restrictive relative clause. But on the other hand, non-restrictive relative clauses, they should be separated from the rest of the sentences by commas. For example, we have got a list of contents would have made it easier to steer through the book, which also lacks a map. Then we have got Bill, who had fallen asleep on the sofa, suddenly rose it himself. So relative clauses, they can be also introduced by that or which when they are referring to things rather than people. For example, we have got the coat that or which Dan had on yesterday was new. So in this sentence, the writer is identifying the coat by saying it is the one Dan was wearing yesterday, at opposite to any other coats he might own. So non-restrictive relative clauses, they must also always be introduced by which and never by that. For example, we have got the coat which Dan had on yesterday was made up of pure alpaca and cost a bomb. So in this sentence, there is no need to identify the coat, it is already been mentioned. But the writer is providing a bit background context by telling that Dan was wearing it yesterday. So we have got something which Dan had on yesterday. So this was something about these relative clauses. First we discussed what are relative clauses, then we went to its types. So quickly recapitulating, that a relative clause, it is the that clause which is connected to the main clause by these words, like we have got who, whom, and that. So after that we discussed that we have got two types, the restrictive or the defining relative clauses, and after that we saw that we have got non-restrictive or non-defining relative clauses. So this was something about these relative clauses. In the next video we will discuss something in detail about the relative clauses, and then we will also discuss about some relative pronouns. With this we end today's video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.